The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series back in action here this weekend at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number 4 for the 2022 Truck Series campaign. It is a busy, action-packed Saturday here at Atlanta. A doubleheader coming your way today, live here on the 4Y Broadcasting Network. Coming up now is the Truck Series, but later on this afternoon, the NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers will tackle this mile-and-a-half speedway. It is the FR8 208. It is coming your way right now. It is the track that broke ground back in 1958 and racing began back in 1960 with the NASCAR Cup Series. The Truck Series began racing here back in 2004, and we have seen some of the best finishes in history at this track. Today marks the 21st time the Truck Series will compete here in Atlanta. And we have 40 trucks on the grid, and you see them already parked on the front straightaway. Only 3 drivers in the field today have been to victory lane here at this track. You have Matt Crafton, who won here back in 2015. John Hunter Nemechek won here a year later in 2016. And most recently, Grant Enfinger, who took the checker flag back in 2020. And there's a look at your pole center, the 21-year-old from California. Tyler Ankrum will lead the field of green for the second time in his Truck Series career. He scored that huge win at Daytona about a month ago. Zane Smith, your winner from Fontana, he will start to the outside of the front row. And then you have a couple of Chevrolets making up row number 2. You have the 19 of Derek Kraus and Grant Enfinger. We talked about Enfinger being that former winner. He starts on the outside of row number 2. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the points, how they shape up after 3 races. 3 races are in the books, and we have 3 names in green. Tyler Ankrum, Zane Smith, and Ty Majeski, all with a win here in 2022. Ty Majeski scored his first ever win of his Truck Series career in our most recent race in Las Vegas. So 3 drivers have secured themselves a spot in the postseason. That only leaves 7 spots left on points, and we still have a long way to go here in the regular season. But I also see some nice early starts to the year for guys like Timmy Hill, Jesse Little, just around that 10th place in points. So both of those two guys having a great start to the year, and we will see if they can keep it up here this afternoon from Atlanta. But that is all of the pre-race news here, and we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we will have the green flag coming your way here from Atlanta, so stay tuned. Okay, so we are going to get the 1 to go signal here this time by. The lights are out top of the pace car. Down below, check out your starting grid for today's race. 40 drivers will be taking the green flag here this afternoon, a 75-lap race. Here from Atlanta, stage 1 is 25 laps, stage 2 will be 20 laps, and then stage 3 will be the final 30 laps of the day. A big challenge for these drivers and teams, only 1 set of Goodyear tires down on pit lane. 1 set of tires, that means these drivers are going to have to try to carry these tires that they have on right now all the way to at least to the end of stage number 2, because if you take some tires after stage 1 or any time before that final stage, you're going to be in a tough position moving forward with the end of the race. You have Christian Eckes and John Hunter Nemechek, Matt Crafton, Colby Howard, Carson Hocevar, Kaz Grala, the 45 truck, rounding out the top 10. Pace car is on pit lane, leaving the field in the hands of Tyler Ankrum and Zane Smith. Green flag comes out, and we are racing here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pretty good jump by both trucks on the front row. Up through the gears they go. Down to the turn number 1. Ankrum on the bottom, and he's going to clear the outside lane. Off turn number 2, but Zane Smith, nice run off the corner on the outside lane. He's going to pick to the inside, entering turn number 3. Down on the inside lane, and Smith's able to go wide open. These trucks, they're on new tires, so they're able to go wide open. Ankrum leads lap number 1. A nice run off the corner, but Zane Smith packs it down on the inside lane in turn number 1 and to clear the 16. New leader number 38, Zane Smith, your leader off turn number 2. Second place now, Tyler Ankrum trying to fend off the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, who right now tries to take that 3rd spot away from the 23 of Grant Enfinger. Behind him, the 19, Derek Kraus, the 91 of Colby Howard, and they're almost 3 wide back here outside the top 10. That's the 18, Chandler Smith in the middle for a moment. Behind the 75 of Parker Cleveland, and they're still 3 wide back here. 30 of Tate Fogelman's in the middle. Tanner Gray up top in the 15. That's the 41 of Ross Chastain. And something that we did not note during the pre-race show is we have a lot of good trucks starting outside the top 10. We have the 7 truck. That's Kyle Larson, the defending Cup champion, making his first start of the year. And this team, they struggled in practice, and they didn't really post that good of lap in qualifying. They make some adjustments after qualifying to get that 7 truck a little bit better. You have the 17 Ryan Preece up here with David Gillen Racing. I said up here. I should have said back here because that's where Ryan Preece is right now in the 17. You also have the 52 of Stuart Friesen, the 18 of Chandler Smith. All having to start a little bit deeper in the field than what we're accustomed to, and they're 3 wide up ahead. The 80 to Matt Crafton in the middle. He was in a Bill McAnally sandwich right there with the 19 of Derek Kraus and his teammate, the 91 of Colby Howard. Howard at the very top of the racetrack. There's the 51 of Corey Heim. Stuck behind the 91, unable to really go anywhere. The 91's been dropping back since the start of the race, and Howard drops down low on the inside lane. There's a look at your winner from Las Vegas 2 weeks ago, Ty Majeski, first career win. Right now, here he is battling the 25 of Matt DiBenedetto. There's Stuart Friesen, the 52. And really nothing going on at the front of the field right now. That's why we're showing this great battle here. Back here with 3 wide. Timmy Hill down in the middle. The iRacing colors on that 56 Toyota. Great looking paint scheme for Timmy Hill this weekend. We talked about him, a very good start of the year for that 56 team. A team that doesn't have the funding like that 18 truck you see with Chandler Smith. But Timmy doing a great job. Still a 3 wide in the middle with Stuart Friesen and Haley Deegan. Another driver who's having to come from the rear, the 41 of Ross Chastain, the 99 of Ben Rhodes. They're still just completely unable to get away from each other, and only a handful of drivers have been able to get away from that big pack. And right now, that 38 of Zane Smith, he is pulling away. We had a couple of trucks trying to come down pit lane for an unscheduled pit stop. The 9 of Blaine Perkins and the 68 of Clay Greenfield. Perkins is being shown 1 lap down currently. Greenfield is currently 2 laps down in that 68 truck. So both of these guys hoping for a yellow here very soon. That is Zane Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, Grant Enfinger, Taylor Ankrum, and Christian Eckes. Your top 5, Kaz Grala. It was announced this week that Grala would drive this 45 truck today, and also in several more races throughout the year. So a great opportunity for Kaz Grala. Right now he's making the most of it in 6th place. Matt Crafton 7th in the 88. Colby Howard has been able to settle into 8th. Carson Hosevar, and now 10th place between the 2 Toyotas of Majeski and Corey Heim. It appears Heim may be able to hold off for one more set of corners, and now Parker Kligerman, the 75, charging over the outside of the 13 here in turn number 3. One of our biggest droppers on the grid, the 19 of Derek Kraus. He started up in 3rd place. He's already dropped outside the top 10 in that 19 truck, being passed there by the 25 of Matt DiBenedetto. They're still just all over each other. I mean, they are not really able to break away. I mean, when you go from about 10th place all the way back to about 30th, they're all right here under a blanket. Back up front, though, working lap number 12 of 75, lap 12 of 25 for stage number 1. just about past a halfway point in this race. And Zane Smith trying to pull away from John Hunter Nemechek and Grant Enfinger. They are first, second, and third right now. The first battle between the 98 and the 45. And Gralla, you see, driving past the 98. So put Gralla inside the top 5. Matt Crafton, who scored a top 5 finish in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Now trying to get past his Thor Sport teammate, Christian Eckes, the 98. Carson Hocevar has been a very tough year so far for the 42 truck. Has yet to score a top 10 finish, but right now it's showing some speed here, trying to battle that 91 of Kobe Howard. And you can already see the pace is beginning to slow down tremendously. The tire wear beginning to increase. One of the roughest surfaces of any track that we have on the schedule. This track completely eats tires, and you're already seeing the fall off on these tires over 2 seconds already. And that's why many of these drivers and teams are trying to see if they can save as much tire as they possibly can, because we're more than likely not going to see any new tires being added to any of these trucks until about lap 45, I would imagine. So these guys are going to really have to make these tires last about 45 laps. Now these guys, they can only go about 25 to 28 laps on fuel. So I could imagine seeing all these guys maybe come down pit lane after stage 1 to get fuel only. But that's about it. But right now Zane Smith also has that clean air, making that 38 truck handle a little bit better than if you're, one of the guys back here outside the top 5. Right now, Corey Heim holds down that 10th and final position, making his first start of the year for KBM. He'll be in this truck for majority of the 2022 schedule. Further back here, there's Timmy Hill, still having another solid effort. Matt DiBenedetto in the 25. He's had a pretty tough year so far. Hasn't really had the speed yet, but right now he feels pretty happy about what he has currently. Up here inside the top 15. Haley Deegan having a nice solid effort in the early stages of this race as well. And they're also, in the back here, they're outrunning guys like, Kyle Larson, Ben Rhodes, Ryan Priest, guys that we know. Stuart Freese is back here in 21st place. Outrunning guys that we know are capable of getting up there and winning this race. And it just seems like it's pretty hard to pass if you're, stuck back here outside the top 20, top 15. It's just really hard to go anywhere. Got Chris Wright, the 27 truck for Rackley War Racing on the outside. Ross Chastain on the bottom. We have one driver making his debut in the Truck Series, the 37. That is Max Gutierrez, making his Truck Series debut for AM Racing, a team that we see on the Xfinity side with Austin Wayne Self, making his Truck Series debut here this weekend. Right now, running just outside the top 25, back in 29th. For Gutierrez, Jesse Little currently in 30th. Right now we have 38 trucks on the lead lap. Right now the 43 of Armani Williams, the final truck on the lead lap. And now Zane Smith has gotten around the number 9 of Blaine Perkins to put him a second lap down. It's still under a second though between the 38 and the 4. Zane Smith and John Hunter Nemechek. Really not a whole lot of difference when it comes to lap time between the 38 and the 4. Although the 23 of Grant Enfinger has been a little bit quicker than the 4 of Nemechek the last couple laps. Matt Crafton currently in 4th place in that 88 truck. Tyler Ankin right now rounds out the top 5. Gralla, Eckes, Majeski, Husavar, and Corey Heim, your top 10. Now the question is, how many of these guys are trying to save some tire? Like, how many of these guys are trying to just kind of run their own race, try to, build a lead, Like they, I feel like if you're a guy like the 88 or the 16, you're in a great spot because you don't have too many guys behind you breathing down your neck. You're able to kind of just go at your own pace. Try to save some tire for this next stage because you're not going to be able to change tires because you only have that one set. So here they are right now, 4th and 5th, kind of, in their own little element right now, and that could come to their benefit here in this next stage. So you see the 9 of Blaine Perkins, the 68 of Clay Granfer. They were able to hold their own for a few laps in front of our leaders, but now Zane Smith has gotten around the 4 of Nemechek, or I'm sorry, around the 2 lap down trucks, and now Nemechek trying to fight his way by the 9, and he's having a little bit of trouble doing so, and that's going to bring that 23 of Enfinger into the mix. It'll be coming to 3 to go here in this opening stage. Remember, lap number 25 will be the end of stage 1. 1 playoff point will be awarded, and we will have 10 stage points being awarded to these drivers. Zane Smith grabbed that win earlier in the year in Fontana, put himself in the playoffs, moved over to Front Row Motorsports during the offseason after his time at GMS Racing was over at the end of 2021. Todd Gillen moved up to the Cup Series beginning this year. Opportunity was given to Zane Smith, and so far he is taking advantage of it with a 1.5 second lead on John Hunter Nemechek. Matt Crafton now closing in on the 23 of Grant Enfinger for 3rd place. Right now, Corey Hyam holds down that 10th and final spot to get stage points behind the 42 of Carson Hocevar, who really needs some points. I mean, he's outside the top 20 in points right now in that 42 truck, so he could definitely use some stage points here. As a final lap in stage 1 has now been given to Zane Smith, a 1.6 second lead on John Hunter Nemechek. A very comfortable lead for the driver of the 38. Also has clean track ahead of him. He's not going to be able to catch the 43 of Williams, so that should give the free pass to the 9 of Blaine Perkins if he can hang on. But off turn 4, stage 1 is going to be in the books, and it's going to be the 38 of Zane Smith grabbing another playoff point as he wins stage number 1 from Atlanta. He wins the stage over John Hunter Nemechek, who will be 2nd, and Grant Enfinger, who will be 3rd. So we have a Ford, a Toyota, and a Chevrolet making up the top 3 here in stage number 1. Definitely like to see the variety of different teams and manufacturers. So really, it seems like no manufacturer seems to have an advantage right now when it comes to speed and handling, but it is a 38 of Zane Smith, your leader, as we are now under yellow here in Atlanta. So the pace car will come back onto the track, and they will pick up our leader, Zane Smith. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have the restart of stage number 2 coming your way here on the 4Y Broadcasting Network. Getting set for the restart here in stage number 2. Let's take a look here at your results from the first stage. Zane Smith, a playoff point for the 38. John Hunter Nemechek, 2nd. Grant Enfinger, Matt Crafton, and Tyler Ankrum. Kaz Grala, Ty Majeski. Christian Eckes, Carson Hocevar, and the 51 of Corey Hyam. Your top 10. The 9 of Blaine Perkins got the free pass, so he'll be 1 lap down here to begin this second stage. And as we expected, no drivers came to pit lane and got tires, although all of our leaders came down pit road and topped off with fuel to make it to the end of stage 2. And Zane Smith, your leader, he chose the inside lane. Remember, the 16 of Tyler Ankrum, he chose the bottom, and he was able to clear the 38 off turn 2. But Smith had a great run on the outside lane, was able to get back by the 16. What can John Hunter do here on the outside of the front row? And it is a great launch by the 4 of Nemechek. Narrowly clears the 38 on the entrance of turn number 1, but Smith fighting back down low. That was a great restart up through the gears for the 4, John Hunter Nemechek, and he's going to take that lead away from Zane Smith. Nemechek now to the lead. Matt Crafton, he saw what the 4 did up top. Now he's going to try to do the same thing here on the outside of Zane Smith off turn 4. Kaz Gralla, the 45, Grant Enfinger in the 23. There's Christian Eckes battling the 51 of Corey Hine. And they're still side by side for second place. Smith down low, Crafton up high. And look at that 45 of Kaz Gralla. He has now driven his way up inside the top 5. There he is in 4th place, 3 wide further back. Colby Howard in the middle again. Matty Benedetto up top in the 25. That was Chandler Smith down low in that 3 wide battle. He's now single file, now double wide with the 75 of Parker Kligerman, who jumps to his outside. And we still haven't seen a whole lot of the 7 truck of Kyle Larson just yet. I can't imagine we will see, we will not see Kyle Larson up front at some point in this race. We also have Ross Chastain, Ryan Priest, who's been so quick so far this year in that 17. He's back here outside the top 15. Ben Rhodes haven't really seen a whole lot of speed out of that 99 truck yet this entire weekend. He qualified outside the top 25. And there he is trying to get around the 41 of Chastain. Stuart Friesen outside the top 20. Tanner Gray back here in the 15. There's Haley Deegan. Brett Holmes, a 32 for his family-owned team. Single file throughout much of the top 10 though. And it is now Nemechek, Crafton, Smith, Gralla, and Eckes. Your top 5. Enfinger has fallen back to 6. Corey Hine, Ankrum, Majeski, and now Kligerman, your top 10. Still a lot of good racing though going on towards outside the top 10. There's Hocevar down low. Larson is now driven up to 11th if he can complete the pass on the 42. We saw Hocevar trying to fight back on the bottom. But nice run on the outside off turn number 2. Up ahead, the 98 of Eckes. He saw him peeking his nose to the inside of the 23 of Enfinger. Couldn't make anything happen, but now Ankrum on the outside of the 51 of Corey Hine. And these guys, they cannot get away from one another, and they're 3 wide throughout much of the field, but 32 laps in this race, we have yet to see a yellow. I mean, these guys are keeping it clean and green for the most part here in the early stages of this race. See Deegan trying to make that outside line work in the 1 behind the 41 of Chastain. But we're seeing that it's pretty hard to pass though. And is that going to be something that we will see later on this afternoon in the Xfinity race and then tomorrow in the NASCAR Cup Series? We have the next gen cars, and we have one car coming to pit lane, the 17. Completely slowed down the inside lane. We have it could be a right front tire down on the 17 to Ryan Priest. The Morton Buildings Hunt Brothers Pizza 4 coming to pit lane to the attention of his pit crew, and they will go to work on the 17. That was a bad break for guys like Derek Kraus and Tanner Gray, who was down low in the inside lane because they had to check up a huge amount to keep from running in the back of the 17. And they lost a lot of spots now outside the top 25 for Derek Kraus, Timmy Hill, Tanner Gray. So now the 17 to Ryan Priest will go 1 lap down to leader John Hunter Nemechek. And there may be some possible debris out on the track. And we are under yellow. It is debris down in turns number 1 and 2. Possibly debris from the 17 to Ryan Priest. And this is probably going to be a pretty good break for Ryan Priest, because remember, caution laps do not count. So now that the caution is out, laps are not being counted. Because right now the 17 would be going a second lap down if the caution was not out. So this is going to be a pretty good break for Ryan Priest. And it's going to be an even better break for the 9 of Blaine Perkins, who'll be getting back on the lead lap here after this yellow. And now Ryan Preece leaving pit road, and he will be at least 1 lap down. And we're going to have another caution within the next maybe 10 to 15 laps to complete stage number 2. So he should be able to get a free pass here if he can just keep his truck on track. But John Hunter Majeski did not want to see that yellow, and he's going to be trying to hold off Matt Crafton. Some new players up here. Matt Crafton, Kaz Grala, inside the top 5 here in the Freight 208 from Atlanta. Getting set to go back green here, this time by John Hunter Majeski, your leader, and the control truck. He chose the inside lane. He got the lead away from Zane Smith on that previous yellow, on that previous restart, by taking the outside, he didn't take the outside line, but he restarted on that top lane, and he was able to get going, and he cleared the 38. I'm wondering, as the tires begin to wear, is that outside line possibly being more preferred? We're going to have to find out here with Matt Crafton now second. Kaz Grala is 4th. Zane Smith in between in 3rd place. Enfinger in 5th. Eckes, Heim, Ankrum, Larson, and Kligerman. Your top 10 as we're going to go back green here on lap number 35 here from Atlanta. And the restart looks pretty similar to what we saw the last time, as Nemechek and Crafton side by side for the lead off turn 2. And I believe that 88 may have the 4 cleared. He does. New leader 88, the 3-time series champion Matt Crafton to the lead. As we'll be coming to about 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Second place, John Hunter and Kaz Grala side by side for second place. There's the 98 of Kristen Eckes trying to figure out a way by both of these two guys. So we're 3 wide back here, but Benedetto is in the middle. There's Ty Majeski up top to 13, Kligerman to 75. Down low you have the 7 to Kyle Larson, the 18 of Chandler Smith. There's Chastain now inside the top 15. There's his teammate Husavar, the 42. I feel like as the tires begin to get older and speed begins to be, with the decrease in speed, I feel like the outside line might be the better place to be, at least on a restart. And that's not just on the front row, but like throughout the entire field. I feel like you kind of get stacked up on the bottom, like you saw right there with Kyle Larson and Chandler Smith. I mean, look how far back the 23 is now falling. I mean, Grant Enfinger's stuck on the bottom. He's being challenged by Majeski. There's Corey Heim. It looks like he's shot out of a cannon almost, going past the 23 of Enfinger. But also, how much tire did these guys save? Remember, we saw the 23 of Enfinger, the 38 of Zane Smith, 2 of the fastest trucks in that first stage. Did they possibly use their tires up, and now that they're in more dirty air, is that making it hard for them to try to work their way back forward? Single file throughout the top 10 currently. Kyle Larson down low. He restarted in 9th place. And right now, 3 wide again. He's going to get put through out by Chastain in the 41. Jack Wood, the 24 up top. It's like you just lose so much momentum when you're exiting the corner down low, like we saw Kyle Larson there off turn 4. And we may see it again here off turn 2. See Larson down low. I may not see it now because he's single file, but right here with Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes are exiting off the corner pretty low. They're not carrying all that momentum off the corner, and it seems like it's hurting their straightaway speed. And there's the 17 of Ryan Preece. Remember, he has some first year tires. We got a word from his pit crew that they actually put on scuffed tires. They did not use their new sticker tires just yet, so they still have them laying down there on pit lane. But it's still a pretty good call to use scuffed tires because only a few laps in the tires compared to what we have right now, 40 laps on these tires for everybody else. Zane Smith falling back now in the clutches of the 75 of Parker Kligerman. Kligerman's going to get to the right rear corner panel, trying to slow the 38 down just a little bit. Tyler Ankrum was able to get by the 38, about a lap to go, and now Kligerman going to do the same here. And now the 51 of Corey Hine, he sees what the 16 did, he sees what the 75 is doing. This could be an opportunity for Corey Hine to make something happen here off turn 2. And Smith's going to lose the spot here to Corey Hine, and possibly now comes the 23 of Grant Enfinger. Wonder if Zane Smith used his tires up from that first stage. He was able to get that playoff point, but now he is struggling for speed right now here in the closing stages of stage 2. There is your leader, Matt Kraft, and he had a tough outing at Daytona. Had a tough outing in Fontana. In Las Vegas, he didn't really run all that well, to be completely honest with you. I don't believe Crafton scored any stage points, but he was able to come home with I believe trying to see where he finished. Yeah, he came home 3rd at Las Vegas, even though he didn't score any stage points. So right now, Crafton, he enters this race, outside the top 20 or outside the top 15 in points. So this is going to be a very good day in the points for the 3-time Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton. And he's going to be coming to 2 to go here in this to complete this second stage. And he has a 1.2 second lead on John Hunter Nemechek. Right now, the 25 of Matty Benedetto holds down that final spot to get some stage points. There's a 17 of Ryan Preece. He is the first truck a lap down, so he just has to be careful with what he's doing right now in that 17. Just take it easy. Don't put himself in a bad situation where he ends up getting damaged or ends up getting taken out, because he's guaranteed to get the free pass here in just 2 laps. The other truck currently off the lead lap, the 68 of Clay Greenfield. He is 3 laps down. But up front, though, Matt Crafton takes the white flag here in stage number 2. Final lap in stage 2 for Matt Crafton. This will be the first race this year that he scored stage points. He didn't score any in Fontana or Las Vegas, but he finished, I believe, 4th in stage 1. And this would be a stage 2 victory for the 3-time Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton. It was a 4 in stage 1. It's a Toyota here in stage 2. Matt Crafton wins the second stage. He takes the green and white checker flag over John Hunter Nemechek. He'll be second, Kaz Grala, Christian Eckes, and Tyler Ankrum. Your top 5 here in stage number 2. And this yellow comes out. The 17 of Ryan Preece is going to get the free pass, so he'll be back on the lead lap when we go back green. Now, the pit window was about 25 to 28 laps. We're going to go green with 30 laps to go. Plus, we have some caution laps that are not even counting. So I'm not sure if these guys pit right here at the end of stage 2. I'm not sure they're still going to have enough fuel to make it all the way to the finish. So they may have to make a pit stop here at the end of the stage and maybe save some fuel to make it to the end of the race. So still a lot left to be decided here. And the Freight 208 from Atlanta, but your stage 2 winner, the 88 Matt Crafton, getting it done here at Atlanta. Getting set to begin the final stage here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here the Freight 208. It's Matt Crafton leading John Hunter Nemechek. 2 former Atlanta winners on the front row. The 45 of Kaz Grala having a great, outstanding race for Nice Motorsports. He's lined up 3rd with the 98 of Christian Eckes, having a great run in that 98 truck. Rear 3, we had the 16 of Tyler Ankrum, the 75 of Parker Kligerman, and you're already seeing your stage 2 results. Zane Smith, Matty Benedetto, Ty Majeski, and Grant Enfinger. Your top 10: Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Kyle Larson, Brett Holmes, Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain. A lot of good trucks still towards the back of the pack. And we're going to have 38 laps to go. No drivers took tires on that pit stop because these drivers, they don't believe that they can make it all the way on fuel. So we are probably going to have to see at least a pit stop here under green as we begin the final stage. John Hunter trying to take that lead away on the outside lane. And once again, I'm surprised that the 88 took the bottom. He took the lead up top. You would think he would stay on that outside lane, but he's going to get passed by his teammate Christian Eckes, who now drives up into second place. So it's Nemechek, Eckes, and Crafton. And there's the 75 of Kligerman. Kligerman, Gralla, De Benedetto, all up here together, just towards the top 5. And now can the Ford get set, and can he try to drive away? Here comes Crafton, the inside of his teammate Eckes for second. This is really some of the most speed we've seen out of this 88 truck in a couple of years. So he's having a great showing here. But when are these guys gonna pit? Because, you know, and I've seen the 88 the 88 might be slowing down, and he is going to come to pit lane here. Matt Crafton coming to pit road because he is now in that pit window. And John Hunter and Zane Smith also coming down pit road this time. Now you might be wondering, you know, why do they come down now and not under caution? If they came down under caution, they wouldn't be able to make it. But now that they're in that pit window and they're going to come now, get those fresh tires and take advantage of it because the tire fall off is so significant right now. And they're also coming down when there's really nobody on pit lane. That's going to be a huge break for these guys. As Kaz Gralla very fast getting on the pit lane. Not sure that's going to be a penalty or not. But as I was saying was, you know, Nemechek, Crafton, you know, they didn't really get slowed down by anybody entering or exiting their pit stall. And Nemechek is going to come out in front of Crafton and Zane Smith. Great pit work on the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek as Ankrum, Eckes, and Gralla, as well as the 23 of Enfinger, will lead pit road now. Kligerman's on pit lane. That will hand the lead to the 18 of Chandler Smith. He'll be the new leader here now. The reason why the 18 is staying out a few laps later is because if a caution comes out, he can trap many of these guys a lap down, and that could be a potential saving or a potential winning moment for Chandler Smith or for anybody else who stays out, like the 99 of Ben Rhodes, who's right behind him. There's the 32 of Brett Holmes, 61 Chase Purdy, Tanner Gray. Now the 18 is going to come down pit lane. The 99 is the 32. And that will hand the lead now to the 27 of Chris Wright. He now grabs the lead away. Kyle Larson leaving pit road. There's the 37 truck of Max Gutierrez. I believe he is yet to come down pit road. Behind Chris Wright, Blaine Perkins also has yet to come down. Jesse Little, the 12 truck. Drew Dollar in the 20. Brian Priest in the 17. Now Jesse Little's on pit lane. Chris Wright, Max Gutierrez. That will hand the lead now to the 9 of Blaine Perkins. So now your new leader is Blaine Perkins. Grant Enfinger driving. There you see, it's kind of ironic seeing Enfinger pass the 9 right there. You know, Enfinger drove that 9 truck for a good portion of the schedule last season. There he is trying to drive by and pull away with 23 laps to go for Blaine Perkins, but obviously more than likely not going to be able to make it on fuel. Trying to see if he can catch a yellow here. With 23 to go, there's Tyler Ankrum, Ross Chastain going by. 2 trucks have yet to come down pit lane. It's Perkins and the 17 to Ryan Priest. Right now we have 14 trucks on the lead lap right now. As you see the 27 to Chris right now coming back on pit lane. The only good thing about staying out longer than everybody else. If a caution comes out with maybe the next, as you see Blaine Perkins slowing down, he's going to come down pit lane this time by, as is the 17 of Ryan Preece. The good thing about that is staying out longer is if a caution comes out maybe the next 10 laps, you're going to be in the lead lap, and then you're going to have 10 lap first tires and everybody else. You might be able to drive your way up through the field. So that's why you see some guys trying to strategize by staying out a little bit later. We had a few guys on pit lane that last time by. Speeding on pit lane, the 24, Jack Wood, the 52, Stuart Friesen, both too fast, exiting pit road. And they had to come back down pit lane and serve a penalty. Tough break for Friesen and Jack Wood. But now that should cycle out the running order, and that should put the 4 back on point with 20 laps to go. This time by for John Hunter Nemechek, a 1.6 second lead for Nemechek. On second place, Matt Crafton. And we had the 45 on pit lane again. Kaz Grala, trouble for the 45. He's on pit lane. You're hearing a possible flat tire on the 45. That is a tough break for Kaz Grala, who's having a great run this afternoon in that 45 for Nice Motorsports. And he's on pit lane. You see Friesen and Jack Wood on the ticker. You saw them on pit lane. They are serving their penalty. And we also had a few other guys who had a mishap on pit lane. The 42 of Carson Hocevar, he slid through his pit box, as did the 91 of Colby Howard. They slid through their pit box, and they have lost a lot of track position, a lot of points for those two drivers. But with 19 to go, they are going to need a yellow to try to get back in this thing. And a yellow is basically what everybody else needs, except that for a John Hunter, because he pitted about a few laps earlier than many of these guys, and even with about 2 to 3 lap older tires, he's kind of holding his own here at the front. 1.6 second lead on Matt Crafton, and a 3.3 on Parker Kligerman. And there's a 45 of Kaz Grala coming back off pit lane. Will he slow down the 4? Nemechek, he kind of backs out, lets the 4 have it. But Grala, I would assume they probably put some scuffed tires on the 45. But as of right now, with Grala being lapped down, we should have about 35 trucks on the lead lap. We have Kaz Grala 2 laps down, Blaine Perkins a lap down, Jack Wood, Stuart Friesen are 2 laps down, and Clay Greenfield is 3 laps back behind John Hunter. That lead is now grown to 1.8 on Matt Crafton in second. I'm going to take you through the field and show you who is where with 17 to go. Third place, great run by the 75 of Parker Kligerman. This is a team that has never ran the full schedule in the Truck Series. Kligerman joined this team several years ago, and for many years has been more of a part-time team, 10 to 12 races, and they would always have their moments, maybe their 5 or 6 races, during the year where they would shine. They would overachieve, and right now that's what Kligerman is doing right now with a small team right now running in third place. What they're trying to do this year, they're trying to go full time. They have not been able to achieve that just yet, but they believe that this is the year they are going to go full time, and a third place finish today is exactly what they need to make that happen right now for the 75 of Parker Kligerman. Fourth place battle on track between the 98 of Christian Eckes and the 38 of Zane Smith. Smith was, he's been able to get some new tires on that 38 car, and now trying to drive his way back up to the front. He's going to clear the 98, take 4th place away. Now here comes the 18 of Chandler Smith down low. I haven't really talked a whole lot about Chandler Smith. Haven't really seen him up front at all today, at least towards the top 5, and here he is in 6th place in that 18. It's definitely a career day for the 25 of Matt DiBenedetto, joining Rackley War Racing full-time this year. They've had a kind of a tough opening couple of races in that 25 truck, but here he is running in 7th place. And a great run here by the 32, Brett Holmes, the former ARCA champion, having a career day as well in 8th. Derek Kraus, he had a great pit stop on pit lane. There was a big stack up on pit road that caused Many drivers lose a lot of time, but Kraus gained a bunch of time on pit road. He's now in 9th. Grant Enfinger has fallen back to 10th in that Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet. Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man, up in 11th. This is the highest he's been all day at this afternoon. In 11th, up ahead of the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Tyler Ankrum has now fallen outside the top 10 in 13th. Kyle Larson, very surprised to see that he's not really been a factor all day long. Kind of been back around this 14th place area for much of the day. Obviously, it's very hard to pass right now in 14th place. You know, these guys haven't really had many opportunities to come down pit lane and make adjustments to their trucks. Right now, it's kind of tried in 14th, ahead of the 27 of Chris Wright, having a solid effort for Rackley War Racing. In 15th, Chase Purdy. The Bama Buggies Toyota in 16th. Ryan Priest back in the lead lap. He's in 17th. Timmy Hill, the iRacing.com Ford, is in 18th. Haley Deegan and Ty Majeski had a slow pit stop. Let's put him outside, almost outside the top 20 there in 20th place. Tanner Gray, 21st for the 15. Jesse Little, 22nd. Tate Fogelman, 23rd. Max Gutierrez in 24th. Greg Yalding is back in 25th. But then 26 is where you will find the 51 of Corey Heim. He was another driver who had a very, very slow pit stop. And here he is back in 26. Drew Dollar, 27th. Lawless Allen is 28th. And then 29th place is the 91 of Colby Howard. And 30th, soon to be the 42 of Carson Hocevar, drives by the 14 to move up into 30th. There's his teammate Dean Thompson, 31st. Trey Hutchins making his first start of the year. He's missed the show the first 3 weeks. Norm Benning in 33rd. Chris Hacker, 34th. And the final truck on the lead lap is Armani Williams in 35th place. But you've not missed anything. You've not missed a single thing at the front of the field. That lead has now grown over second place Matt Crafton, over a 2-second lead between John Hunter Nemechek and Matt Crafton. Coming to 9 to go this time by. It's been a very clean race for the Truck Series here this afternoon. This race definitely flying by in a hurry. Matt Crafton trying to figure out if there's anything he can do in the next 9 laps to chase down that Ford Nemechek, but did the decision to choose the bottom on that last restart cost Matt Crafton a shot at the win. And if this race stays green, it's going to be probably a safe yes. Now you see behind him the 75 of Parker Kligerman in 3rd place, trying to chase down the 88 of Crafton. Chandler Smith, Zane Smith, they both been able to get around the 98 of Christian Eckes. Now to Benedetto closing in on the 98 for 6. And up ahead of our leaders, up ahead of the 4 of Nemechek, you have the 43 of Armani Williams. He's going to go a lap down, and I'm not sure he may catch the 33 of Chris Hacker, but other than the 33 and maybe the 6 of Norm Benning, he really has, he basically has clean track ahead of him if he can just get around this 43 without losing too much time to second place Matt Crafton. Williams gives the 4 the outside lane. I believe that's where Nemechek would want to be anyway. And Williams lets him go. Coming to 6 to go this time by for John Hunter. Now you go back to Daytona. You had Tyler Ankrum win. You had Ty Majeski win at Vegas. And if Nemechek can hold on and win today, that'll be 3 wins for Toyota in the first 4 races of the year. The other non-Toyota win was Zane Smith and Fontana. Coming to 5 to go this time by. Chandler Smith still trying to get around that 38 of Zane Smith. Up ahead of the 38 is the 45 of Kaz Grala. Remember, he had to come down pit lane. He had a tire going down. Ended up losing 2 laps because of it. Jack Wood, Stuart Friesen, they also had a pit road mishap. Had to come back down pit lane. They sped on pit road. And they're both 2 laps down as well. Clay Greenfield had trouble at the very beginning of the race. He is in last place, 3 laps behind the leaders. Right now, Grant Enfinger holds down the last spot inside the top 10. But it's all about John Hunter Nemechek trying to hang on for 4 more laps here in Atlanta. We have 2 slow trucks side by side ahead. Chris Hacker and Norm Benning. They may get cut. They may be put a lap down, but the 4 still has a really good lead on the 88 of Crafton, where he just has to basically coast from here. Just give it, 75% the last 3 laps, and he should be good to go. As we're coming to 3 laps to go. There's the 19 of Derek Krause trying to hold off the 23 of Grant Enfinger, the 41 of Chastain. This is 9th and 10th. Chastain 11th, and Ben Rhodes in 12th place. And Enfinger's going to try to take that spot away from Krause down low, and now Chastain sees the 23 making the move. We've seen a lot of guys make moves on the outside lane, but that was the pass on the inside. Enfinger makes it work. He clears the 19 for 9th place. Now Chastain tries to see if he can do anything with the 19 here as we're coming to 2 to go. This time by there's the 4, John Hunter Nemechek. He moved up to the NASCAR Cup Series full time in 2020, but after 2020 he had a contract to return to Front Row Motorsports in 2021, but he decided not to go through with it. He wanted to return to the Truck Series with KBM because he wanted to go out and win races and win titles, not run and subpar equipment. He came over to Kyle Busch Motorsports to try to win races, and that's what he's been doing since then. He won 5 times a year ago, but hasn't won since Pocono in May of last year. It's been June of last year. It's been quite a while. Kind of a winless drought for John Hunter. 5 wins this season to go. 3rd in the championship in Phoenix last November. He kind of had a quiet start of the year here in 2022. But things are going to pick up here with a victory in Atlanta for the 2nd time in his career. John Hunter Nemechek is going to go to victory lane here in Atlanta. He wins the Freight 208 in a dominating final stage here from Atlanta. And we had the 25 truck come to pit lane. Possibly a flat tire on the 25 and the 98. Not sure what happened there to Matt DiBenedetto. Oh yeah, there's DiBenedetto and his teammate Chris Wright coming to pit lane. That was a very quick pit stop for Chris Wright. Maybe they didn't get that truck full of fuel or something, but the 25 of DiBenedetto and the 98 of Eckes both came to pit lane. Coming off turn 4, not sure what happened to the 25 or the 98. The 24 we saw Jack Wood, he was also on pit lane. But that was a huge bummer for Matt DiBenedetto, who was running inside the top 10. But there is your winner here this afternoon, the number 4, John Hunter Nemechek. Gets it done this afternoon. Going to victory lane here for Kyle Busch Motorsports for the 2nd time in his career. He wins at Atlanta. Remember, he was one of our former winners here. We talked about at the top of the show, and they 1st and 2nd when it comes to former winners here, Nemechek and Crafton. So that was a dominating win for John Hunter. That last stage went clean, and it was green all the way to the end. Had some drama there on the final lap with the 25 and the 98. Not sure what happened there with those 2 trucks, but definitely a bummer for DiBenedetto and Eckes. But now they will get set to go down pit lane and begin post-race inspection. And as they do that, let's go ahead and show you your results here this afternoon. Your top 12, John Hunter, a dominating win. Matt Crafton, Parker Kligerman, Chandler Smith, and Zane Smith. Chandler was able to get past the 38 with a few laps to go to grab 4th place. Great run for the 32 of Brett Holmes inside the top 10. Grant Enfinger, Ross Chastain, Derek Krause gets his first top 10 of the year, and Ben Rhodes comes out with the top 10 after really running outside the top 15 for all day. And there's Kyle Larson 11th, and Tyler Ankrum, your pole sitter, ends up 12th. There's Chase Birdie 13th, Ryan Preece 14th. Ty Majeski, a winner from Vegas, ends up 17th. Corey Heim, we saw him with that bad pit stop, comes back to get 19th place. We got Max Gutierrez making the series debut, 21st. Lawless Allen 24th. Further back, Colby Howard, Carson Hocevar, another tough day for Hocevar. Dean Thompson, Trey Hutchins, Chris Wright, Christian Eckes. There's the Benedetto down in 33rd place. Blaine Perkins runs out the top 36. And it was mistakes that costed the final four drivers. We had Kaz Gralla. Had a, wasn't really a mistake when he had a flat tire. Had to come back down pit lane. Stuart Friesen, he sped on pit road. Jack Wood also sped on pit lane. And Clay Greenfield, he had trouble earlier in the race. Ends up dead last. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the points, how they shape up now after we are 4 races in the books. And John Hunter leads the way on the playoff grid with a win here this afternoon, locking himself in the playoffs. Zane Smith, Ty Majeski, and Tyler Ankrum. In green, you see Chandler Smith and Ben Rhodes. They have a pretty good lead when he comes into the points. 62 and 54 to the good. Then things get tight. 7th on back, Matt Crafton, Tanner Gray, Timmy Hill, and Colby Howard. On the outside looking in there, you have Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, Matty Benedetto all the way to 19th. And a few names you don't even see on that list. You have Haley Deegan, Derek Krause, Carson Hocevar. Some good trucks. Not even inside the top 20 points, as we are 4 races now in the books here in 2022. So we want to thank you guys for watching here on the 4Y Broadcasting Network, but we will have more racing coming your way later on this afternoon from Atlanta. We have the NASCAR Xfinity guys getting set to tackle this Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then tomorrow the NASCAR Cup Series with the next gen car makes their debut here at this track. Going to be interesting to see how that will play out tomorrow here from Atlanta. Coming up next in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series schedule is in a couple of weeks. We had a schedule change. If you look at our Discord, we had a schedule change. But next week, actually, it will be the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Martinsville, our first short track race of the year. We were going to be going to the Bristol Dirt Race, but that has been canceled. And we are going to Martinsville next week. And then we will be off 4 weeks, and then we will go to Iowa for the 6th race of the year. So that is the next couple of tracks on the schedule here for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. So stay tuned for that. But coming up next, it is the NASCAR Xfinity guys from Atlanta here, live on the 4Y Broadcasting Network. Thank you guys for joining us here, and we will see you a little bit later on this afternoon here from Atlanta.